Aquarius, welcome to your December 2021 general tarot reading. It's Rena here. I realize I'm recording this on December 4th, and it's quite some time afterwards, but better late than never. Oh my goodness. For Aquarius, well, I can tell you why you might have had those two cards. I'll pick an additional card. Start spreading the news. I always have that as a title. When I get the Page of Wands, I know that it's not in the frame, but oh well. I can't do it. I cannot do it. Okay. The heart of the matter is the Judgment card, and this is a card that is associated with baptism by fire. So there's that sense of, you've been through something very dramatic, and now there's a rebirth. This is a card of rebirth. But in terms of that baptism by fire, it can actually be that you have experienced something that is more challenging, that comes from cause and effect. So kind of, sometimes it can be like blowback. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, you got what you deserved, but you know what I mean, things like that. And this is a card that is associated with Pluto, and that's where that kind of karmic connection comes from. But on the plus side, it is a card that is speaking about you having some kind of rebirth, and the fact, and also the Judgment card can be like a literal judgment if you're awaiting some kind of legal matter coming to fruition or something like that. And I have as the card that is from the past, we have the World card, and this is the last card of the Major Arcana, and that is that card of completion. So something ending that leads to a judgment, okay? And so, the typical ones, if you're getting a divorce and you're waiting, you feel like that legal announcement, or whatever you want to call it, document, will be the catalyst for your rebirth. Or if you are trying to sell your house, or maybe it's even just like a lease and you're trying to get out of it, you have to wait so that you can be released from it, and then you can move on with your life. There's something, maybe a legal thing, a legal matter that you're waiting to see what it happens so that you can move on with your life. And another thing too about the Judgment card is your own judgment. Like, are you there's the Seven of Cups here, so you may have been a little bit confused in your life, Aquarius, and that may have exacerbated issues. Like, maybe, well, let's say you're getting divorced and you say to yourself, how did I get involved in this in the first place? Like, what was I thinking? And, just like astrologically, if you are an Aquarius and you have Mercury in Pisces, Neptune is transiting Pisces, has been for like almost 10 years. So you may have had some kind of conjunction with Neptune, with your Mercury, and that has kind of made you not as able to discern things properly as normal, but maybe a lot more psychic at the same time. The higher message is the King of Cups. Feel your feelings. be in touch with your feelings. If you're someone who is, the typical Aquarian, you might be very detached, and you don't have that connection to your feelings in a very visceral sort of way. It might be in your head, but not necessarily in your gut. And that can go a long way for any kind of situation that you find yourself in, where you feel like you're not making the best decisions, and you wish you could figure out how to do that. Another thing about the King of Cups is it can be like a counselor, somebody that you can talk about all of your challenges with. It doesn't have to be a therapist, although sometimes that's exactly what is the best route. It might be like a meditation teacher, an energy healer, something like that. A priest, if you go to mass, who knows? But another thing too is that there might be a father figure that is really somebody you can confide in. And maybe this person, you haven't done so because you don't want to worry them, or you don't want them to think that you don't have your life together in some way. And they really do care about you. Maybe this is even somebody who's crossed over, who is always there and cares about, is there in spirit for you. Oh, speaking of which, this is the card that crosses you, is the High Priestess. So this is about that intuitive side of yourself, that in touch with the higher self. This is blocked in some way. Why is it blocked? Well, I was going to just say, talking about the World card, those cards on the top, Jupiter is going into Pisces at the end of December, where it had briefly been earlier in the year. And so that's your second house, and you've had Jupiter in your first house, and Jupiter connects with the higher mind, and that includes anything related to God. But you may have been fighting it for some reason. You may feel like, because Saturn is in Aquarius as well. So Saturn is one of your rulers, and you may feel that sense of, especially if you have a lot of Capricorn energy, of being more the traditional type of person. Yeah, that's another thing too, like the King of Cups. Maybe you're meant to be a healer, and you've been kind of, it's funny, I never hear the World card being used this way, but I'll just be the first one then. Being too much in the world. And that being something that is very, that's holding you back, because that material side of you, not the Uranian side, which is very connected to the galactic, connected to things that are off the beaten path. The Saturn energy is very dense, and to me it's associated with 3D. So, and is karmic, and that's really karma too, is that, coming back over and over again, this recycling, reincarnation process. So have you been listening to your higher self? Have you been doing any kind of spiritual practices? Or have you been immersed in other areas of your life to the extent that you don't think that it's necessary? Or you can't value it because of that. You're going to have, it's interesting too, because if Scorpio is your 10th house, you're going to have, and this is, if you're a solar Aquarian, if this is your sun sign, definitely find out what your rising sign is, because that will be more important for these actual mundane events. But I'm just saying, I'm just saying that if it is, then you're going to have eclipses here in the coming 18 months. And you're going to have to accept the fact that career matters may be front and center, a lot of shifts. And being able to, navigate those with grace. Also, the South Node, going into that 10th house. So it's not the same old. If you rely on the same type of way to, see yourself in the public eye, so to speak, that might not be the best for you. You might need to kind of go with the flow of what seems to be coming true for you, what seems to be the path that seems to be opening up for you. What's coming in is the Two of Pentacles. This can be a fork in the road. As Yogi Berra says, if you see a fork in the road, take it. And this is also a job offer overseas. Yes, definitely, because the World card can be that as well. And you have to decide whether or not you want to leave. Your fixed sign, you might be like, I don't really want to uproot. But just in general, I would say you're coming into a period of a lot of hectic activity in December. And it might not have all to do with work. It might be that you're having to run and see family, because it's the holiday season, and then you have more work than you expected, just things like that. But it might be choosing between two types of work, service to others, and the outcome is the Seven of Cups. So that's why I picked an additional card, because this is a card where you may be feeling indecisive due to having a lot of choices. And it's so great, it's interesting because when Jupiter goes into Pisces, and that being your second house, this is the house of earned income, and it might be that you have Jupiter can expand this area, so you might have multiple income streams. But having said that, having multiple income streams, it may be hard to kind of specialize in certain things, because either you're getting offers or you're getting these great ideas for what you can do, and it might not feel very grounded. It might feel like your head is in the clouds. So I picked an additional card, and that's why I said start spreading the news. Page of Wands is a card of hearing good news, and this good news can put you on a path where you feel a sense of exhilaration, where you feel very excited. There's an adventurous quality because of the page being a new kind of a project or something like that. And also, fire energy is very enthusiastic. So you might be just like chomping at the bit to do something and feeling like you have these opportunities. But I would say, especially for things that you're doing as like starting your own business, and this may be in the very early stages. I'm not saying that you're going to do it all in December, but I know that when I thought about doing this, it wasn't something that I ever thought of in the past. And I'm talking about being in my late 40s and thinking about doing something like this. That's really important to hear that for those of you who might be like 30 or 35 and think that you're like over the hill, is to understand that you're listening to somebody that was in her late 40s and said oh, maybe I'll go on YouTube. And this was back in 2014, and I thought, wow, and I'll be one of the only astrologers in the whole world on YouTube, which was funny, because one of the things that I found out is that we do not get recommended everything. I mean, you have to search far and wide, and it's so vast. But in my mind, that was what was happening, and that was good. I'm glad that I thought that, or else I might have said, oh, what's the use? But I ended up taking 9 months to kind of get everything together, because I wasn't really a predictive astrologer at that time. And it wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. I thought I could just, press record and everything would just fall into place. So whatever it is that you have, you may not even know at the time of this recording that you are going to have these ideas. They could come to you just like they came to me, in a very quick way. And it could be that King of Cups person, if somebody has passed away in your life who was maybe a parent, like a father or father figure or grandfather, somebody who was very nurturing to you, this person may still be in your corner, cheering you on and trying to implant ideas into you that will bring joy to your life. And so that's where the high priestess comes in, because the more receptive you are, the more you can be receptive to ideas for the practical world that can actually benefit you financially, or, being able to serve other people. And that's the important thing. People are always just thinking of, meditation is just so you can escape the world. No, there's more to that than just trying to go into a different dimension or what have you. It's about right here and right now, how the quality of your life on earth. Okay, that's what I have for you, Aquarius. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Thanks for watching. Bye.